In the opulent town of Velmora, where beauty and wealth dictated social status, two sisters, Evelyn and Lillian Hawthorne, lived in a grand estate. Their family was one of the wealthiest in the country, surrounded by luxury designer clothes, priceless jewelry, and the finest tutors. Yet, despite their privilege, they lacked the one thing that mattered most in their world: beauty. Evelyn and Lillian were not as striking as their peers, and in a town obsessed with perfection, this was seen as an unforgivable flaw. They were constantly ridiculed, whispered about behind their backs, and dismissed by those who deemed them unworthy. Even their wealth couldn't shield them from the harsh judgment of their schoolmates, especially from Sophia Belmont, the town's reigning beauty. Sophia, the daughter of another influential family, was admired by all. With her radiant looks and effortless charm, she ruled their school like a queen. She mocked the sisters relentlessly, sneering at their plain features and untamed hair. Evelyn and Lillian tried to ignore the cruel words, but each insult stung, deepening their resentment. One evening, after a particularly humiliating day, the sisters sat together in their candlelit bedroom, gazing out at the moonlit estate. The air between them was heavy with unspoken longing. "I wish we were beautiful," Evelyn murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "I wish we could walk into a room and make people stare in awe." Lillian nodded, her heart aching with the same wish. "I'd do anything to make them stop laughing at us," she admitted, her hands clenched in frustration. As if responding to their desperate plea, a strange chill swept through the room. The candles flickered, and the shadows deepened unnaturally. A cold gust of air brushed against their skin, despite the windows being shut. Then, a voice soft, whispery, and otherworldly filled the air. "Do you truly wish for beauty?" The sisters froze, their breath hitching in their throats. The voice was everywhere and nowhere, wrapping around them like an invisible mist. It was both unsettling and hypnotic, making them forget their fear. "Yes," Evelyn whispered, unable to stop herself. "We do." "Then come to me," the voice beckoned. "I can give you beauty beyond imagination. But remember, all beauty comes at a price." A shiver ran down their spines, but the promise was too tempting to ignore. Without hesitation, the sisters made their decision. That night, they left the safety of their mansion and ventured into the misty woods, following the voice that had promised them everything. The air in the woods was thick with mist, the trees looming like silent watchers. The sisters followed an invisible pull, deeper into the forest than they had ever dared to go. Their footsteps crunched softly against the damp earth, their hearts pounding with anticipation. After what felt like an eternity, they reached a clearing bathed in silver moonlight. At the center stood a towering, ancient mirror, its glass cracked yet shimmering as if alive. Strange symbols were carved into its gilded frame, glowing faintly. The voice spoke again, but this time it came from the mirror itself. "Touch the mirror, and all you desire will be yours. But know this, your beauty must be renewed year after year, and the price will be significant." The sisters hesitated for only a moment. The thought of living another day as outcasts, of enduring more ridicule, was unbearable. Without another word, both reached out, their trembling fingers brushing against the cold glass. The moment they touched it, a surge of warmth flooded their bodies. A tingling sensation spread from their fingertips, coursing through their veins like liquid gold. They gasped as they felt themselves transform. Their hair turned silky and radiant, cascading in perfect waves. Their skin glowed with flawless perfection, and their eyes shimmered like polished gemstones. The mirror had granted their wish. They were now breathtakingly beautiful. As they stepped away, their reflections stared back, impossibly exquisite versions of themselves. They could hardly believe it was real. The voice, now softer, whispered one final warning. "Remember your bargain, my darlings. Beauty is never free." The mist swirled around them, and in the blink of an eye, the clearing vanished. The sisters found themselves standing at the edge of the forest, the towering mansion before them. Everything was different now. The transformation was instantaneous. When Evelyn and Lillian returned to school, heads turned. Whispers followed them down the halls, admiration replacing the usual jeers. Their classmates were in awe. Even Sophia Belmont, their longtime tormentor, seemed stunned into silence. The once overlooked sisters were now the most admired women in Valmora. Their confidence soared, and with their newfound allure, they took control of their destiny. Inspired by their own transformation, they launched their own beauty brand, Hawthorne Beauty. Their products promised to enhance natural beauty, but their secret lay elsewhere. Every year, on the anniversary of their transformation, they returned to the mirror in the woods to renew their gift, offering small sacrifices to the dark force that had made them beautiful. Their brand quickly became a phenomenon. Women from all over the country clamored for their products, desperate to capture even a sliver of their radiance. Year after year, Hawthorne Beauty dominated the beauty industry, their fame and fortune growing with each passing season. But with each renewal, the price increased. Years later, Camilla Hayes, a rising makeup artist, joined the company. Ambitious and talented, she had long admired the Hawthorne sisters' success. But as passed, she began to notice something strange. Despite being the faces of a cosmetic empire, Evelyn and Lillian never seemed to age. Their beauty was almost unnatural. Even stranger, no one in the company knew the secret behind their products. The formulas were heavily guarded, and the sisters rarely appeared in public except for grand events. Curious, Camilla began asking questions. The deeper she dug, the more secrets she uncovered until one night, she discovered a hidden door in the Hawthorne Beauty headquarters. A staircase led her deep underground, where she found a chamber filled with ancient symbols and a cracked mirror. Her breath caught. This wasn't just a beauty company. This was something darker. Before she could escape, a voice behind her stilled her blood. "Did you really think you could uncover our secret?" Evelyn and Lillian stood in the doorway, their glowing eyes filled with cold amusement. Camilla had seen too much. And now she would have to pay the price. Camilla's heart pounded as Evelyn and Lillian stepped into the dimly lit chamber, their beauty eerie and unnatural in the flickering candlelight. The cracked mirror behind them shimmered with an otherworldly glow, as if alive. "You shouldn't be here," Evelyn said, her voice soft yet filled with menace. Lillian tilted her head, her cold eyes scanning Camilla like a predator assessing its prey. "Curiosity is dangerous, darling," she murmured. "And you've seen far too much." Camilla took a shaky step backward, her eyes darting toward the only exit the narrow stairwell she had come through. But before she could move, the door slammed shut on its own. The sisters smiled in unison. "You think our beauty is just makeup?" Evelyn whispered, stepping closer. "You think Hawthorne Beauty is built on formulas and powders?" Lillian chuckled. "Oh, sweet Camilla. Our success has been paid for in blood." Camilla's stomach twisted in fear. Blood? Her gaze flickered to the mirror, its surface rippling like disturbed water. And suddenly, she saw it, their true reflections. The flawless, radiant women before her were an illusion. In the mirror, Evelyn and Lillian's faces were hollow and gaunt, their skin stretched tightly over aging, withered features. Their once beautiful eyes were sunken and filled with shadows. Camilla gasped. "You see it now, don't you?" Evelyn murmured, "This mirror gives us our beauty, our power. But it must be fed." Lillian reached out, caressing a candle's flame with bare fingers, completely unburned. "Every year, we must renew our pact." A small price to pay for perfection, wouldn't you agree? Camilla felt bile rise in her throat. You've been sacrificing people." Lillian's lips curled into a sinister smile. "Only those who don't belong. Those who stray too close." Camilla understood then. The missing employees, the hushed rumors, the unexplained disappearances, it had all been them. And now she was next. Before she could react, Lillian grabbed Camilla's wrist with unnatural strength, yanking her toward the mirror. Evelyn moved swiftly, producing a silver dagger from within the folds of her silk dress. Camilla struggled, her breath coming in short gasps. "You should feel honored," Evelyn said, dragging the blade lightly across Camilla's cheek. "Your beauty will become ours." Lillian whispered something in a language that made Camilla's skin crawl. The mirror pulsed, its surface shifting into a swirling abyss of black mist. Desperate, Camilla fought back. She kicked Lillian's shin with all her strength, causing the woman to stumble. As Evelyn raised the dagger to strike, Camilla ducked, grabbing a candle from the altar and hurling it at the mirror. Crack. The mirror shuddered violently, its glow flickering. Evelyn let out an inhuman scream. Oh. Camilla wasted no time. She turned and ran. She sprinted up the stairs, her legs burning, her mind racing. She could hear the sisters behind her, shrieking in fury, their voices twisted with something not quite human. But Camilla was faster. She burst through the hidden door and into the main office, startling a few night workers. "Help." She gasped. "Callthepolice." A security guard rushed toward her, but before anyone could react, a violent tremor shook the building. The ground beneath them rumbled. The mirror had been damaged. And now it was fighting back. Back in the chamber, Evelyn and Lillian were in agony. The mirror's magic, once their greatest gift, was turning against them. Their bodies convulsed, their flawless skin cracking like porcelain. Their once luxurious hair turned brittle, their features warping into something monstrous. Lillian clawed at her face. "Fix it." "We have to." The mirror shattered completely. A wave of dark mist engulfed them. Their screams echoed through the chamber as their bodies were dragged into the abyss, their desperate hands clawing at the air before disappearing into nothingness. The last thing they heard was the voice of the entity they had served for so long. "Your debt is paid." And then silence. The Hawthorne sisters were gone. The next morning, the news exploded. The once mighty Hawthorne beauty empire crumbled overnight. The authorities uncovered the hidden chamber, the ritualistic symbols, and the horrifying truth of the sisters' dark pact. Employees were shocked. Customers were horrified. The beauty world collapsed in disbelief. As for Camilla, she became the whistleblower who exposed one of the biggest scandals in history. She refused to be silent. She told everything. Within days, Hawthorne Beauty was shut down forever. The sisters' legacy of lies and deception was erased, their names nothing more than whispers in the dark. Months later, Camilla found herself standing in a new office. This time, she was the one in charge. She called it True Glow. Unlike the Hawthorne sisters, she didn't rely on illusions or dark magic. She didn't need forbidden mirrors or whisper deals. Real beauty, she had learned, came from within. And in the end, that was the only beauty that truly lasted. Late one night, long after the scandal had died down, Camilla sat in her office, reviewing product designs. The world had moved on. The Hawthorne sisters were gone. Or so she thought. Because as she turned off her lamp and glanced at the mirror across the room, for just a fraction of a second, she swore she saw them. Two gaunt, hollow-eyed figures staring back at her, smiling, watching, and then, just as quickly as they had appeared, they were gone. Camilla swallowed hard, forcing herself to take a deep breath. It was over, wasn't it?